Call the meeting of the Wyomissing Borough Council to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Brunner? Here. Councilmember Stinko? Here. Councilmember Reimer? Here. Councilmember Noble?
Here.
Councilmember Burnett? Here. Councilmember Weinhofer?
Here.
And Council President Jenks.
Here. Okay, for this evening's meeting, there was an executive session in which personnel matters and contracts were discussed. Are there any public comments as they relate to items on the agenda? Sir.
My name is David George, and I reside in Woodford Place in Wyomissing. I'm speaking to the Borough Council today for myself and a group of fellow Wyomissing residents who support the formation of the Wyomissing Environmental Advisory Council, EAC. I previously sent to Council a more extensive rationale, but I'd like to just be brief today and emphasize several major points. First, there are a substantial number of Wyomissing residents who wish to volunteer to help make Wyomissing a model of environmental responsibility. Their talents would be valuable to the borough. We can make the greatest impact when our efforts are coordinated with the planning of the Wyomissing Borough staff and borough committees such as Park and Shade. The EAC structure, as defined in the proposed ordinance that will be reviewed at today's meeting, is recommended by a Pennsylvania statute that allows Pennsylvania municipalities to create such an advisory council. This structure offers the greatest opportunity to involve sufficient numbers of volunteers to work along with the Borough Council representatives in order to accomplish the following: to gather data for council decision-making, to educate the community, to build relationships with the Wyomissing schools, library, and other local organizations, to develop work groups to support not only priorities required of a refuse and recycling committee, but also to support other council services as well. Collaboration with Parks and Shade on the recommendations from the Wyomissing Parklands Natural Resources Plan is just one example. To collaborate with other local EACs such as West Reading and Reading, we've already been in contact with them, and to position Wyomissing to obtain grants for projects. And the Rotary Club has already expressed interest in such a collaboration. So in sum, an EAC will support the current borough infrastructure and will result in a stronger, cleaner Wyomissing community. Thank you for your time.
George, thank you very much, and thank you for your efforts on this, putting the information for EAC together. Appreciate your involvement. Any other public comments? Sir, please state your name and address.
For the one Cardinal Road. Excuse me, are you ready to show my materials?
It's up on the screen.
Okay, so I am talking about Ordinance 1448 that we are going to accept today, not me, but the Borough Council. And here are some illustrations. Right now, this person is not allowed to let his dogs defecate and urinate in the public. It's right away part of Cardinal Road, 8 feet width. But carefully looking around, he sees nobody's looking, so he lets his dog defecate and then scratch the land. You will see later on what's going on there. I'm talking about this problem since 2020 when he first introduced one of his dogs to the public.
They're your videos. Please tell me which one you would like
Please,
pulled out.
sure. So this is my piece that I showed in 2020. Red dots, it's September, October. Green dots, it's August 2020. This is what he's doing. Starting from 47, which is his house, going to 48, 41, or 15, 14. That's it. Next, please.
I have an objection on Sunshine Act. Please do not speak between yourselves. We cannot hear you.
No,
this is a public meeting.
Excuse me, Eddie.
Yes.
Now he brought his puppy to my driveway, put it, and he's waiting when the puppy is defecating. Next, please. I told him to go away. He's telling me no. This is right now in July 15, when he brought his dog and defecated. The dog defecated on my land. which is right away or actually my land. Nobody knows because there is no border to show. Next, please. This is the result of his actions. You see pristine grass. Then it is changing to the patch where his dogs established the restroom. This is environmental problem which will be all over the borough if we allow to change the ordinance. Next, please. Next, please. It's my land, he's coming to me, he's letting his dogs attack me, just not being able to control the dogs. My point is, when he is coming, when the ordinance will be in place, and he will be running all over the borough on the right of way, there is no way anybody can find the border of right of way. We have 17 different widths of right of way in our 140 plus streets and roads. You see, nobody will say, and then you call the police, oh, he's trespassing, he's letting his dogs kill our environment. Mr. Jens told me, oh no, it's not a police issue, it's craft issue. Nobody is calling craft, will be calling police. So I believe the reason is not we cannot control one individual or another. The reason for this thing, it's just retaliation for the dismantling of the monument to corruption in the border, which was no parking zone for Mr. Kulin. I believe that's all. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your comments. Are there any other public comments this evening?
Yes, I have. So, Adrian Jadik, 48 Cardinal Road. First of all, I'm here to formally object to the proposed policy concerning the use of audio and video recording equipment during public meetings. This policy raises serious concerns and infringes upon rights guaranteed under the Sunshine Act. My objection is based on the following points. Number one, violation of the Sunshine Act. The proposed restrictions include prohibiting and repositioning of cameras directly infringe the right to record the meeting fully and accurately. For instance, I have previously needed to adjust my camera to capture speakers who are seated behind me or elsewhere in the room. This policy would make it impossible and obstruct proper documentation of comments and presentations. Likewise, there are moments where I may briefly step out of the room, for example, to use the restroom or answer an emergency phone call. This should not grant anyone the authority to handle my equipment without permission. Restricting my ability to record while I'm present or briefly out of the room undermines my right to participate to the meeting fully. Inconsistent enforcement. We have seen large media crews or larger with far more intrusive equipment record these meetings without issue. Yet now smaller, unobtrusive, just a GoPro on a stick seems to bother everybody, and I am targeted for it. It is obvious that this policy is aimed at one single person, me. However, this kind of selective enforcement sets a dangerous precedent for anyone who wishes to exercise their rights to document or participate in public meetings. I am particularly concerned that democratic members of this council who ran on platforms of transparency and equity remain silent regarding this persistent targeting. Where is the commitment to fairness when it's needed the most? And about the elephant in the room, incident mishandling the equipment. At the economic development meeting, Michelle decided to physically grab and literally throw my equipment out the door without my consent. This behavior was not only inappropriate, but bordering on assault, demonstrating a troubling lack of respect for personal property. What's more concerning is that no one has acknowledged this incident or offered an apology. If I had done anything even remotely similar, I would have likely been banned or arrested on the spot. This hypocrisy is blatant, and the silence surrounding these actions speaks volumes. Policies like these don't just affect me. They create an atmosphere where the public feels harassed, targeted, and humiliated simply for participating fully in these meetings and questioning our elected officials' which contradicts the very purpose of the Sunshine Act. I strongly urge the council to vote down this policy as it stands. And I'll make a small comment, which is called marketing our parks or just mowing down common sense. And there's nothing wrong with it. I have nothing against Randy. I think we need someone like him. But I've read the description of the new recreation marketing director. I must admit I'm impressed. Not because we're creating a role, but because we're apparently marketing something that can't be marketed. Public parks restricted to our very own residents. By ordinance, we're not allowing other people to come to our parks. I guess the thought is that residents who already live here need a little extra marketing push to realize they have access to the parks. They pass by every day on their way to work. Maybe we're missing a golden opportunity here. If this is about revenue generations, perhaps we should start charging admission to those parks and finally put that marketing director to work. Why stop there? Maybe the next logical step is to market the borough's grass. We could have most well-publicized turf in Pennsylvania. We might even need to establish a new award, best managed patch of grass in the Commonwealth. Clearly, it's a competitive field out there. And what's more amusing to me is that this director will be directing themselves. There is no department. So essentially, we're creating a director without a team, which I assume is a dream job for anyone who loves holding meetings with themselves and have zero oversight.
You have 20 seconds, sir.
Yeah, good. Larger municipalities around us, ones with real departments to direct, don't seem to feel the need for a marketing division. But here in Wyomissing, we lost our all common sense and we seem to be pioneering a brand new frontier in self-promotion. All jokes aside.
Thank you very much, sir. Your time is up.
Jesus. Pathetic. Huh?
Are there any other public comments? Hearing none, we will move on. Okay, in your packet, you have the council minutes of August the 13th, and entertain the motion to approve those minutes.
So, second.
Motion second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it, so approved. Thank you. Consulting engineers report.
There he is.
Thank you. You have our report for the month of August. Just a couple quick updates on the Public Works project. They are nearing completion on the new building. The last I heard was around the end of this month, beginning of October, the Public Works staff will begin to move into the new building and the contractor will transition to the existing building for those renovations. Stonehouse project is progressing, and the water main replacement, Old Mill and Oriole, we had the pre-construction meeting this morning. They are targeting the week of September 30th, I believe it was, for their start date. And they're anticipating about 3 to 4 weeks worth of construction. And that's all I have unless there's any questions.
Any questions on the engineers report? Hearing none, entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you very much. Next, we have the police chief and mayor's report.
Thank you. The report is, as always, very complete, but I have asked the chief to comment a bit on a effort that was proactively done last month. And Chief, if you pick it up and fill in the council on some of the details, I think the public should know about this.
Just, everybody has a report, and I'll answer any questions that you may have, but just a kind of a couple of things I wanted to talk about. You noticed we had handled 741 calls for the month. August being the unofficial end of summer with kids returning back to school was our busiest summer on record. Between beginning of May 1st and the end of August, we handled 3,184 calls. You know, from the end of August, that's a little over 54% of the total calls that we handled for the year. So it was a busy time period for us, but as you've seen and hopefully saw in this report, they're still taking care of business, though, even though they've been very busy. Just a couple other things, some community service type events that we were involved with this month was I gave an active threat presentation to both congregations at the synagogue on Warwick. That was very well attended, something I've done several times over there. I've been to many places, as you know, but they're kind of a repeat customer for us. They enjoy having us come back, and they take their security very seriously. Another event we participated in was the block party here at the library. I understand that was pretty well attended. It was a nice day, and always seems to be a good time for people. With what the mayor was referring to is Wyomissing, like other communities around us, we've seen a rash of theft from vehicles. They kind of come and go. It ebbs and flows throughout the year so far, but we had seen an uptick, and we had put stuff out on social media, trying to warn the public on things and give them suggestions on steps they can take. Because most of the vehicles that are broken into are actually vehicles that are left unlocked and they have valuables inside. One of the other things that's been happening, and it happened to us as well as the other communities, we saw some catalytic converters being taken off the cars. So our detectives our Sergeant Quinter put together a detail that involved the detectives and a few of our officers, and we did some research as to when these events have been occurring within the borough, that the areas within the borough that they're occurring, and we were able to put together a detail on a certain day that odds were telling us that it may have happened. And they were out pretty much all night and on bikes and unmarked cars, looking for something. Spring Township participated that day too. They were checking their area because where these have been occurring, it's been on our borders with areas with West Reading and Spring. That night we didn't get anybody, but I can say that so far this month, in both West Reading and Spring, we've helped them take people into custody that were doing it, and our detectives are looking into, are they involved in what's been happening here. So hopefully we'll be able to get some clearances by making the identification of these individuals that were taken into custody in the other two municipalities. So we're out there. What I want everybody to know is, we see issues, we're trying to take steps to take care of those issues. We're trying not to just be an answer and a report type department, but we're trying to actively seek out what these problems are and stop them before they occur. I said to the guys that, we maybe didn't catch anybody, we don't know that we didn't stop anybody though either being out there, so.
Could I ask you a question about the aggressive driver detail on page 2?
Sure.
You mentioned there were 42 contacts resulting in 43 citations. Have any of these activities taken place on Reading Boulevard or Wyomissing Boulevard, or where are they?
They're all over the borough.
Is it possible to focus on specific areas? Because I think over the course of the last few weeks, there have been a number of accidents on Wyomissing Boulevard in front of my house, actually, and there have been all kinds of traffic. Even the police were commenting on how much traffic goes around there in the middle of the afternoon and mornings. And clearly, the number of people that transfer from Wyomissing to somewhere else takes place early in the morning and late in the afternoon. And I think if that aggressive driver issue were taking place there, we wouldn't be offending our own people, which is always bad if we give our own people tickets. But we should be willing to give other people tickets if they're flying through the borough at 65 miles an hour, and that might be something we could do just to check it out.
I can tell you that they do, when they're doing these details, as it says on the details are funded through the Highway Safety Network and not, so it's not costing the borough time, and it's bringing in officers so that your regular on-duty officers can still tend to the other duties that they're responsible for. But it's occurring all throughout the borough. They don't stick to one location. But as far as specifically on Wyomissing Boulevard, I can have them sitting out there again, looking to see what's going on. Early morning hours, they spend a lot of it doing school detail stuff now that the
So
school's
it's
back
starting
in
to get
session.
worse because people will come down one of the boulevards and turn off at Garfield or Cleveland and then hit the gas going right through that street. That's really a disaster waiting to happen because there's cars on both sides. There's kids in these little cycles that are driving around going, somebody will get killed on these streets.
I'll certainly have them look at those areas. It's not a problem.
Now, I had asked the chief to comment on that detail, but I want to point out that that's a two-way street. The vast majority of the theft from vehicles has shown itself for years to be unlocked cars with stuff sitting there very obviously. It's not just the quarters in a cup holder thing, but computers sitting on the seat and the car's unlocked. Things along those lines. Keys are in the cup holder or whatever, and we really want residents to take the initiative to make sure they don't do anything that's obvious. As far as the catalytic converters thing, obviously that has nothing to do with locking the car, but people that know what they're doing can wiggle underneath the car with a couple of wrenches and drop the catalytic converter in a matter of minutes.
They're mostly being cut or taken off.
Or they just cut them out, but sometimes they do the right thing if they were such good. So we wanted the public to know, A, be careful, be vigilant, be smart. But secondly, we wanted them to know that we're out there doing these kind of things proactively. And I commend the department for that work. Thank you, Chief.
Another thing I wanted to really mention is the last item that I have on that page 2 were the arrests that we made in 2 burglaries from 2023. One at the Best Buy and then the ATM stuff and burglaries at the Berkshire Mall and Jake's Coin Laundry. You probably saw maybe the news articles that were done on that. On both jobs, the detectives did a lot of work. I could say that the Best Buy, that individual, it's actually individuals not from this country. They've been identified and they're currently not in the country, but the warrants have been signed, and if they try to come back or do come back, they get picked up and they'll be brought back up here. So it's just something that since I started here 28 years ago, Bob Johnson used to tell me, no matter what happens, they always seem to find their way here. And it's little Wyomissing, 5 square miles, and they come here, and it's just another example of that. International rings coming here and breaking in, and that was a professional job. They went through the roof and cut through walls, and so again, it was another nice work that was done by our detectives. They're really doing a great job. But as far as anything else goes, if anybody else has any questions, I'd be happy to answer them for you.
Have you seen an increase in porch theft packages?
We've had a couple, we have not had
Like the
many.
Hill seems to be getting hit.
They're not reporting it to us,
Okay.
I will say
That's
that.
what I figured.
We're
They're
not,
complaining online.
they're not
Okay.
reporting it to us.
Okay.
You mean stealing packages off?
People are stealing packages off, yeah.
Yeah.
And I saw that there was just a person that was, I don't know if you saw that article, there was an individual just arrested recently doing that, in another jurisdiction.
Thank you.
Yeah, and that was a result of, a watchful neighbor who, I guess Northern Berks had put out an alert for this car, and this person called and said, I think I see this car on the street, and they caught him. So community involvement is extremely important. Anything more, Chief?
Nope.
Anybody else have anything for the police chief or the mayor? Thank you very much. Entertain a motion to approve the police chief and mayor's report.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you, gentlemen. Fire chief's report, Chief Holmes.
Good evening, council. For the month of August, another busy month for the fire department. Total calls for the month were 158. We gave aid 47 times, meaning 111 were here in the borough. Year to date, 1,218 incidents. 43 QRS calls in August with 16 patient contacts. Our average turnout time sits around 1 minute and 50 seconds with 5.7 people responding. Comparing year-to-date responses between 2024 and 2023, we're down about 8% from where we were in the borough at this time last year. I would expect that that will kind of stay a little bit below with some changes that have happened here in the borough. Fire loss stands at 18,250 year-to-date. On the inspection side, since we started doing inspections in June, completed 161 fire inspections for a total of 518 fire inspections in the borough, which is approximately 58% of the total commercial occupancies. On the pace that we're going, we'll be in the low 90 percentile for completing annual fire inspections for our commercial occupancies by the end of the year.
Good question, Chief.
Yes, sir.
On the total inspections, you have 597, total billables 40,445. Is that a percentage of the 597, or how do you calculate what the total dollars outstanding are that haven't been collected?
So the total billables there are based off of the adopted fee schedule for 2024, based on the size of the building or the actions that were taken, re-inspection hours, corrective action orders, etc. And that number that you see there is only since July 1st.
So all the inspections have yielded $40,000
Since July 1st, yes.
since July 1st.
When we started doing fire inspections, again here with the fire department, the 189 that we've calculated and kept track of have brought in, or have had billables in the amount of 40,445, as you see in the street.
Great, good job.
There were also inspections that were completed earlier in the year when we were accommodating the spring.
That is correct. And those are the ones that you see on the screen outside of the parentheses. In the fire inspections, there were 518 that were completed, less the 161 that we did since June, so around 357. ISO, we're staying on track with meeting our goal as best we can for the training hours year to date. We have some public education and fire prevention events coming up here in the borough. We'll be holding our annual fire prevention open house on Wednesday the 9th at the firehouse from 6 to 8 p.m. Apparatus updates, we have a meeting coming up on September 23rd with Blick to finalize the graphics and the tool mounting for the new fire engine. And Ladder 79 is still out of service, awaiting the shipment of the one aerial section from Pierce Manufacturing down to Blick to be repaired. That's all I have for the August fire department report.
Do you have any questions for the chief? If you have a comment, and I think Mr. Brunner will be very happy to hear this as well. Last night, the Relief Association of the Wyomissing Fire Company, and that is the volunteer firefighters, held their quarterly meeting in which Chief Holmes presented his 2025 budget to the Relief Association, totaling $115,300. His total proposal was approved without question by the Relief Association. It's the first time ever. I think it goes to the credence of Chief Holmes. I went up to him afterwards, I said, "Who did you talk to?" Because I was shocked myself. For those who may not be aware, the Relief Association, this is monies paid by foreign fire insurance to the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, and that money is distributed by the state, and primarily it can be used for purchase of fire apparatus or safety equipment, primarily. Although we were able to purchase $30,000 of this for hose for the new fire engine, and as well as nozzles. So I think with what happened last night, again, credence to you. You've done yeoman service in a very short period of time. I commend you.
Thank you, sir.
So with that, I'll entertain a motion to approve the chief's report.
So moved.
There's an action item on the agenda, Chief.
Yes, there's an action item. Yes, sir. I'm respectfully requesting approval for a motion to commence the technician promotion process. We still have a vacancy on one of our shifts. The process would comply with the rules and regulations set forth by civil service, and the intent is to have a candidate to propose for promotion at the October council meeting.
Someone wish to make that motion?
So moved.
Second. Motion and second. Is there a question on the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it, so be it. Sorry, Chief.
That's
You know.
Thank you very much, council.
Okay, and now I'll entertain a motion to approve the fire chief's report.
So moved.
Motion second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Okay, moving on to committee reports, and the first one this evening will be infrastructure. Mr. Brunner.
I have an objection on Sunshine Act on Infrastructure Committee.
What's your objection?
My objection pertains to the fact that Mr. Krutowski's public comment time was cut short due to technical difficulties caused by administration. No remediation or opportunity was provided to Mr. Krutowski to complete these comments. Despite this, the minutes inaccurately reflect my objection, twisting it to suggest that my own comments were satisfactorily included in the record, rendering my objection moot. This is false. My objection, as confirmed by Solicitor Hartman during the meeting, was specifically regarding the curtailment of Mr. Krutowski's comments, not my own. Solicitor Hartman stated that my objection did not constitute a violation of Sunshine Act without providing a detailed explanation as to why the interrupted comments of another speaker do not constitute a violation. The current draft minutes misrepresent the nature of my objection and improperly suggest that the issue was with my comments, not with Mr. Krutowski. This is a significant misrepresentation of the facts, and I demand that the minutes be corrected to accurately reflect the details of my objection and Mr. Krutowski's curtailed comments. I formally request that my objection be acknowledged and the minutes be corrected accordingly. Additionally, I ask that this written objection be included in the official record of tonight's meeting and read aloud. It has been read aloud. Thank you.
Mr. David, your objection is noted for the minutes. Please proceed.
Okay.
Brother.
The Infrastructure Committee met on August 19th. Before we start, just want to make a note that the meeting minutes have been revised to correct a typographical error that showed no public comment was provided at the meeting. The public comment that was provided at the meeting is now reflected in the public comment section. Okay, moving on to agenda items. The first thing on the agenda is ordinance number 1447-2024. The ordinance of the Borough of Wyomissing, Berks County, Pennsylvania, amending Chapter 2 entitled Animals and creating Part 6 entitled Cats at Large of the Borough of the Wyomissing Borough Code of Ordinances in order to provide for regulations for cats at large. And this is an ordinance that we are trying to approve for advertising. So we need a motion to.
Please keep that door open, Mr. Jadick.
Please keep, sorry, I'm looking to reduce it. So I'll make the motion to adopt or to advertise ordinance number 1447-24 as to providing regulation for cats at large.
Second.
Can you make that motion? Okay, and second?
Second.
Question on the motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. So ordered for advertisement.
Okay, ordinance number 1448-2024, an ordinance of the Borough of Wyomissing, Berks County, Pennsylvania, amending Chapter 2 entitled Animals, Part 3 entitled Control of Animal Defecation, Section 301 entitled Animal Defecation on Public and Private Properties Restricted of the Borough of Wyomissing Code of Ordinances to revise the regulations for animal defecation and urination on public and private property. I'll go ahead and make that motion to advertise.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Ordinance 1448-2024 can be advertised.
Good. And now we have, let me find my notes, sorry. I got out of order. It's not good. Well, I'll find it.
The number 6.
So we're on to, oh, we're in
Change
five.
order.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry, my apologies.
Number 6.
The motion is needed to table, or a motion, the committee is making a recommendation to authorize change order number 2 in the amount of $8,556.69 for Wexcon Inc. to add two manholes to the portion of the West Lawn Interceptor that will be replaced in conjunction with the Spring Township Interceptor, and I'll go ahead and make that motion. Second.
Motion and second. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Brenner?
Yes.
Councilmember Stanko?
Yes.
Councilmember Reimer?
Yes.
Councilmember Vogel?
Yes.
Councilmember Burnett?
Yes.
Councilmember Weinhardt?
Yes.
And Council President Jones?
Yes.
Okay. Committee is making a recommendation to approve authorizing payment application number 2 in the amount of $25,391.20 to Sewer Specialty Services Company for the sewer cleaning, televising, and repairs. I'll go ahead and make that motion.
We have a motion and second. Roll call.
Councilmember Brenner?
Yes.
Councilmember Stanko?
Yes.
Councilmember Reimer?
Yes.
Councilmember Vogel?
Yes.
Councilmember Burnett?
Yes.
Councilmember Weinhardt?
Yes.
And Council President James?
Yes.
The motion, committee is recommending a motion to authorize payment application number 4 in the amount of $85,319.68 to Construction Master Services LLC for the 2024 street work. I'll go ahead and make that motion.
Second.
We have a motion and second. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Brenner?
Yes.
Councilmember Stanko?
Yes.
Councilmember Reimer?
Yes.
Councilmember Vogel?
Yes.
Councilmember Burnett?
Yes.
Councilmember Weinhardt?
Yes.
And Council President James?
Yes.
The committee has made a recommendation to approve authorizing payment application number 9 in the amount of $111,947.41 to Bolton Construction for the Public Works Facility using the Tompkins General Obligation Note. I'll make that motion.
Second.
Motion and second. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Brenner?
I abstain due to my employment at Tompkins.
Councilmember Stanko?
Yes.
Councilmember Reimer?
Yes.
Councilmember Vogel?
Yes.
Councilmember Burnett?
Yes.
Councilmember Weinhardt?
Yes.
And Council President James?
Yes.
The committee has also recommended authorizing payment of payment application number 3 in the amount of $161,732.22 to Guard Spot Electric for the electrical services for the Public Works Facility using the Tompkins General Obligation Note. So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and second. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Brenner?
I abstain due to my employment at Tompkins.
Councilmember Stanko?
Yes.
Councilmember Reimer?
Yes.
Councilmember Vogel?
Yes.
Councilmember Burnett?
Yes.
Councilmember Weinhardt?
Yes.
And Council President James?
Yes.
Next.
Next.
In that order.
Number.
Sorry, I got out of order. Number 11, a motion is needed to approve. The committee is making a recommendation to approve the contract with Berkey Construction through December of 2024 for the cost of $10,000 per month for the Public Works Garage Project Management Services. So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and second. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Brenner?
I will abstain in case that has something to do with Tompkins.
Councilmember Stanko?
Yes.
Councilmember Reimer?
Yes.
Councilmember Mobile?
Yes.
Councilmember Burnett?
Yes.
Councilmember Weinhofer?
Yes.
And Council President James.
Yes.
Motion is needed to, the committee is making a recommendation to approve payment, application number 1, in the amount of $78,545.66 to Construction Master Services LLC for the Stone House project work, and I'll go ahead and make that motion.
Second.
We have a motion and second, roll call, please.
And Councilmember Burnett?
Yes.
Councilmember Stanko?
Yes.
Councilmember Reimer?
Yes.
Councilmember Mobile?
Yes.
Councilmember Barnett?
Yes.
Councilmember Weinhofer?
Yes.
And Council President James.
Yes.
Committee is making a recommendation to approve authorizing the Borough Solicitor to prepare a draft ordinance to amend Chapter 10, Section 102, to permit food trucks to operate within the borough. I'll make that recommendation.
Second.
We have a motion and second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
Okay, the motion, the committee is making a recommendation, authorizing the policy for use of Borough Hall by elected and appointed officials with revision to the policy to include that policy is for Borough Hall usage during regular business hours, and I'll go ahead and make that motion.
Second.
We have a motion and second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it, so enacted.
That's all that the infrastructure committee had to do this month, so.
Give me my cheat sheet.
There we go. I'll make a motion, well, I can't do that. I'll make a motion to approve the report.
Second.
We have a motion and second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it, thank you.
Now I gotta get through yours.
Okay, Personnel Committee, Mr. Mobile.
Thank you, Mr. President. We met on August 20th, and the two major thrusts of the conversation, one was dealing with performance evaluation reviews, and no actions necessary on that, but it's not a dead issue. The other item involved converting the borough, converting the rec director to a full-time position, which would include marketing, which as I understand would be not necessarily marketing of rec, but marketing on the borough website and things of that nature. We are paying someone approximately $18,000 to $20,000 to keep the MyRec software, blah, 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 be done and up to date and things of that nature. That person would no longer be necessary, and that's where we can generate some money. Again, it's noted that this director would assist with information posting on the borough website, which is very important to the council and for the citizens of this borough, and even help the police and fire departments on their social media content. Budgeting purposes, the salaries as well as spending habits were reviewed. It was noted the salary budget for $45,000 for the year, and as of this payroll cycle, the budget will meet $45,000. There, however, 4 months left, and it's going to slightly exceed that amount for this year. So the committee came to the conclusion that, and motion to approve or recommend approval to the council to have a full-time recreation and marketing director position description effective January 1, 2025, including the change to noting the majority of the time of this recreation director will be used for recreation functions, and that passed the personnel committee unanimously, and I make that motion to the council.
Second.
I have a question.
Is it about the motion?
Yes. Appropriate.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just curious as to what's the package cost going to be with respect to part-time, full-time marketing from January 1 to the end of the year. That's the total package.
What's that projected for budget?
You mean salary and benefits?
Yeah, both if you don't.
Salary would be 75,000 and benefits combined for any full-time employee. I mean, some of it depends on insurance, could be anywhere from 20,000 to 40,000 additional
For what?
benefits, total benefits package.
Benefits.
Okay, so it could be less than 100,000 total package. All right, thank you.
So we have a motion second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it.
And I make a motion to approve the rest of the report.
Second.
We have a motion second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you very much, Mr. Mogul. The Recreation Board, Mr. Weinhofer, Mr. McKinley.
Thank you so much. Not too much for me to add to the report. We've brought all of our major summer programs to a close, and hopefully we're gonna get wrap up on those in our next meeting coming up next week. So we'll have more robust conversation about it for next council meeting. And I'll go over to Randy for anything else you'd like to add.
Thank you guys. As Rick talked about, the summer programming, paid programming has all come to a close. Right now we're going through the participant and parent survey process. We've sent out surveys for playground, tennis, swim lessons, and swimnastics. So far in the pool program, we've had 45 responses, swimnastics 8, swim lessons 8, playground 57, and tennis 1. So we're kind of using this as a mechanism to gather feedback from parents and participants. On the event side, the summer concert series wound up August 24th. It was the Wonton Soups at the pool, and honestly, it was the lowest attended event. It could have been because it was right around school starting and parents didn't want to come out. They were busy school shopping and such, but it was the lowest attended event that we've had. Our movies in the park started up on 8/22 with Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. We just finished up with The Little Mermaid. This weekend we have Wonka at Wyomissing Hills Memorial Park. On 9/28 at Happy Hollow we'll have Elemental, a PG Pixar movie. And on 10/5 back at Berkshire Heights we'll do Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. The Fall Walk series is probably the biggest event that's getting a facelift. I was talking to the mayor about it earlier. Last year we gave out stickers. Basically people showed up and walked around through the parklands and turned to me and said, well, what else is there? In conversations with them, what they were looking for is more educational opportunities. So what I've been doing over the last 2 to 3 weeks, and several of you have helped me, is gather information on Roost Bridge, the Goodman Barn, Evans Grist Mill, Old Wyomissing Road. We'll have yard signs up where participants can go up with their phones, scan the QR code, and get the history of those items. So not only has it been educational for me, but it's what people ask for as they're walking around through the parkland. So I'm excited about that. October brings about the Spooky Hollow and the Booing House Decorating Contest. And right after that will be Lighting of the Greens. As Rick mentioned, we're going through the fee schedule. We'll be talking about it next week at the rec board. Any questions on?
I have a question. I know we had a sort of a blip on the screen during the summer with that crazy thing about if you didn't go to preschool, you can't go to the playground. How's that coming, resolving that issue so when spring comes along, we're not starting to solve a problem that we should be solving now?
It's not a problem. It's
Not
not something we can solve.
It's not our rule.
That's the state.
All right, well, I just want to know what's happening with it, wherever it is. Does anybody know?
It's basically going to the legislature had 9 days left in session as of the beginning of September, and after meeting with Senator Schwenk 3 weeks ago, she told me she's almost 90% certain nothing's happening to it this year and someone's gonna have to reintroduce it next year.
So is she gonna introduce it for us?
She's not a code sponsor, she can't.
Can we get one? Get a movement?
I mean, I think she was working on it, she understands the importance, but
Well, I'm just asking, because if we don't ask, in the summer, we don't know what happened, and we'll say we didn't do anything.
I mean, from what I've been told by her and others, there is strong lobbying opposition to the regulation being changed. So I think it's going to be an uphill battle to get it changed.
So that means we're gonna take a hit again.
And the rec board's made it clear that they're not interested in operating any type of licensed daycare facility, so I think the expectation for now for 2025 is we would operate the same way we did in '24.
Except the number of people working for us will be less, because we'll have a number of people less than we had.
We didn't have them this year either.
I'm sorry?
We didn't have them this year either.
I thought we did have people that we couldn't have given anything to do because the kids had to leave.
I mean, we were adequately staffed for the number of children that we had at playground.
So we had too many
No.
on staff, because we lost 20 kids that couldn't be there.
We lost 59 kids total.
We lost 60
But,
kids.
but what we did do was police our hours and operate similar to what restaurants do, where they cut staff if they're not needed.
All right.
And during the interview process, we made it clear that we would be doing that to help control labor.
Well,
Next year, we're projecting a 10% increase in enrollment based on the success that we have this year and parents talking about it and excited about the program again. We're anticipating a 10% increase in enrollment.
Right, and with all the other stuff you're doing, having those people working there, you can move around to different projects.
Say that one more time, Tim.
If you keep the staff you have, even though you lost a bunch of kids you may not get back, you're doing more things that require more people to do things. So you don't lose them, you just move them around and do more projects.
Yes and no.
Okay. Good.
Are there any other questions? Randy, I have one, and I'd like you to clarify something for me. And this is for the sake of the public. It was said that our parklands is closed only to borough residents. Can you please verify that the parklands were open to all residents outside of Wyomissing as well as inside Wyomissing in order to achieve state funding?
That was the first I had heard about that. I actually took a note
Yeah.
to do more research
That
on
was
it.
done at least
We changed the language in 2019 to allow us.
2019.
Yeah.
So, okay, just some clarification for the public. Okay, thank you. Any other questions, comments? If not, entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second, all those in favor? Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you. Refuge and Recycling Committee, Mrs. Barnett.
As you can see from the report, the committee looked at the different trash reports, as we always do, noting in particular what volume is picked up in different neighborhoods, and it appeared that the neighborhoods which had lower income had more trash than the neighborhoods with higher income.
I'm sorry, say that again. I didn't hear you, I'm sorry.
The trash produced by the neighborhoods which seem to have lower income was greater than the trash produced by neighborhoods which seem to have higher income. We're looking into recycling last because it's very frustrating to people that we cannot, there's not a market to recycle, but there isn't, and so the hauler is using it to crush glass and use it in lieu of dirt or other items to heal. It's considered recycled. We put recycling and they crush it and put it on top of trash to weight it down. So that's considered recycling, although it's not what a normal person would think of as recycling. It's using.
Which bucket do I put?
Yeah.
So I need to know.
Well, the frustration is also that because it's, when we put it in recycling, then we pay more to have it hauled away. But in next meeting, we will be forming a subcommittee to look at, what we should look, the terms which we recommend for the next contract. You know, whether we're going to have single stream recycling, what we're going to recycle, things like that. That'll be a lot of work. Michelle would like our recommendation by the beginning of next year, so we need to start.
I have a question on that. That's a borough contract. Who were you looking at having a subcommittee?
We're looking at what terms we should include in the request for the vote.
Meeting the language within the actual bid documents, where it talks about single stream, what constitutes recycling, the types of glass, etc.
Okay, I just wanted to, okay, very good.
Yeah, but it's only.
Fine.
And honestly, it's helping staff because last time that was Melissa and I.
Yeah, no, that's great, perfect. I just wanted
Yeah,
some
single
clarification.
stream's very expensive, it doesn't seem as useful as it should be, it seems like a waste of money.
So the opposite of single stream is multiple streams, so that means you're streaming.
You put like paper in one, and glass in another,
Two.
and plastic in another, yeah, something like that. When you decide what
It's like
you
we
want to
used
pay
to do.
for and not pay for, yeah, it's a good idea.
We might decide on that one.
Can we be able to provide an alternative?
Seventeen.
Yeah, and then we have extensions of the current contracts, we can compare the bids we get from the current contracts and see what's cheaper.
Got it. Yep.
But we need to start by looking at what we think should be in the contract. And we looked into a composting program at the suggestion of, Judge Grimm, and basically concluded that it's not practical for residents, but it might be something the borough should look into instead of for our leaf collection, things like that, instead of paying somebody to take our leaves. Similar, things that Jim picks up. We'll see. But what was most important to the committee is that we would ask that refuse and recycling be replaced by Environmental Advisory Commission, which would have a broader portfolio. It is in contrast to other commissions. We actually have to, we've got more interested in joining us than we have slots, which is very nice. A lot of the projects require 2, 3, 4 people to do it at minimum. And by having the EAC with more members, we could tap into their talents and get a good work product in a shorter amount of time. So it's been decided. Dr. George described it. We've heard us talk about it in different meetings, and I hope that when this comes up for consideration in the manager's report, that it will have the support of council. That is my report.
Make a motion to the report.
We have a motion and second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Economic Development Committee, Mr. Mayor.
Committee met on August the 22nd. We had an update on what's called the Pennsylvania Americana region, the old Visitors Bureau. There's a new executive director, Heather Zimmerman, who happens to be the stepdaughter of our friend David Boucher. And the former executive director, Crystal Sykes, was along. She seems to be having a little bit of a problem with letting it go, but in any event, but she's a really good person. In any event, they updated us. They were very busy, and I think doing a good job with the hotel tax that we led the way on, which was not a problem for hotels at all. The other thing we did was I asked to have an update on Fast Bridge Fiber. This is arguably an infrastructure item, but they made their initial presentation when they came to town to the Economic Development Committee, so I wanted to find out where things stand. And at this point, they seem to be pretty well wired through the hills section. In the areas that have wires above poles are coming along. They have not gotten very far so far in regards to where they have to put things in the ground. And what they advise me on, what we should tell any residents that say, where is this thing? Is get on the phone and call them up or go on their website. And they tend to go where they feel there's demand. The underground stuff is apparently quite expensive in relation to the overhead wiring and stuff, but there's a thing of the future. Economic development was very keen on getting it because of having that additional capacity for businesses in the commercial district and so on, as making the borough a place to locate your business because you have access to such things. Fiber essentially, in its most basic description, is capacity and speed. You can do more stuff through the fiber than they can through a wire like you're familiar with cable TV and so on. And you can get a lot more streaming and whatnot through it and a lot faster. So it's something that's coming, but they have not, to my estimation, performed as quickly as I would have expected. So my advice is get on the phone and call them up and say, how come it's not at my house? So other than that, we're busy with some other projects that are kind of in the pipeline, but nothing substantial to report just yet. So if there are any questions, we'll be glad to answer them. Otherwise, I would ask one of the members of council to make a motion to approve the report.
Second.
We have a motion and second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Okay, the Fire and Police Committee met on August the 26th. Under the Fire Department report, Chief Holmes reported that he's working towards a professional development program with individual staff members in the planning process to prepare staff for any future promotional opportunities. This includes coaching, mentoring, and annual performance evaluation. So, in a nutshell, you're not locked in at just being a firefighter. There is opportunities, and he will help you achieve those goals that you might wish to do. Chief Holmes also reported that the first due record management system and sharing, he has expectations that that will be completed this month. Chief just ran out to
They met today. They met with Spring Township today.
and how'd that go?
I haven't had a chance to talk to him since
Okay.
then.
Chief Combs went out to a structure fire, that's why he had to leave suddenly. So that is all in his report. Under the police department, Chief Phillips reported that the district attorney's office would like to donate a vehicle to the police department to be used for surveillance purposes. And this would come at no charge to the borough whatsoever except for insurance and gasoline. So at this point, the committee is recommending, and I will make the recommendation that we accept the offer for this free vehicle.
Second. I recommend it be a roll call because there are some ancillary expenses.
Okay, roll call please.
Councilmember Brenner?
Yes.
Councilmember Stanko?
Yes.
Councilmember Reimer?
Yes.
Councilmember Vogel?
Yes.
Councilmember Barnett?
Yes.
Councilmember Weinhofer?
Yes.
And Council President James?
Yes. Just on a side note on that, I was with District Attorney John Adams last week and personally thanked him for his contribution of this vehicle to us. He said this did come from drug forfeiture monies, and surprisingly enough, he told me that Berks County has the highest drug forfeitures in the state, which I just found very surprising. You know, and I said, even more than Allegheny County and Philadelphia County? He said, yes. So, I guess that's good and bad, you know? Yes, and it is due to all of his efforts, really. So, again, I expressed our appreciation to him for that. And then just as an update, Chief Phillips lastly spoke about the illegal motorcycle and ATV ordinance that has been previously discussed. Do you have any updates on that you wish to share?
Yeah, just waiting for the solicitor to get a final draft so the council can review it.
Okay. We do have some ordinances to hopefully enact this evening. And the first one being ordinance number 1445-2024, an ordinance of the Borough of Wyomissing, Berks County, Pennsylvania, amending Chapter 13 entitled Licenses, Permits, and General Business Regulations, Part 2 entitled Peddling and Soliciting of the Wyomissing Borough Code of Ordinances in order to restrict peddling and solicitation activities. And I'll entertain a motion to approve this ordinance.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Ordinance number 1445-2024 is enacted.
So, just for public knowledge, that doesn't affect
Girl Scouts,
Girl
nonprofits,
Scouts, Boy
church
Scouts,
groups.
Officer religious, whatever, basketball, baseball, track, girls, everybody.
Good point.
Everybody, yeah.
We gotta support the schools and their teams. And all nonprofit religious organizations. Okay, next is ordinance number 1446-2024. Do I really have to read it? He's saying yes.
It's a traffic ordinance relating to intersections along Hill Avenue. It involves stop signs, it involves no parking areas. What else?
The removal of the 2-hour limit.
It removes the time limit, yeah. It's all related to Hill Avenue.
Thank you. So, at this point, I'll entertain a motion to approve ordinance number 1446, which has been advertised already.
So moved.
We have a motion and second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ordinance number 1446-2024 is enacted. And with that, I'll entertain a motion to approve the Fire and Police Committee's report.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you very much. Okay, moving on to Finance and Administration, Mr. Brunner.
Okay, the Finance Administration Committee met September 5th at 8 a.m. First thing on the agenda was the pension administration. The pension plans, the review was that the pensions were performed at about a 10.5% gain over the course of last year. So it's performing well, until I tell you about the next part. But the committee is making a recommendation to council to authorize payment of Q3 2024 MMO payment in the amount of $55,576.75. And I'll go ahead and make that motion.
We have a motion and second. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Brunner?
Yes.
Councilmember Stenko? Councilmember Reimer?
Yes.
Councilmember Vogel?
Yes.
Councilmember Burnett?
Yes.
Councilmember Weinhopper?
Yes.
And Council President James?
Yes.
Okay. Then we also got an update on the 2025 MMO, and I don't think I need calculations on how that was made, but it's a picture in time of one day, December 31st, I believe, of 2022. And then your calculation is based on how the stock market was at that performance. If they would have done it a month earlier or a month later, it would have been a significant difference in what we're going to need to contribute. But based on that calculation for 2025, the committee is making a recommendation to council to authorize budgeting $1,568,537 for the 2025 MMO. I'll go ahead and make that recommendation.
Motion and second, roll call, please.
Councilmember Brennan?
Yes.
Councilmember Stanko? Councilmember Reimer?
Yes.
Councilmember Vogel?
Yes.
Councilmember Barnett?
Yes.
Councilmember Weinhofer?
Yes.
And Council President James.
Yes.
Sad that they have to take a picture of one picture at a time, because it would have been a significantly different picture a couple of weeks later.
As we
Just
choke.
for my edification, the public who's here, that means maybe sometime next year when they look at this for 26.
We do it every 2 years, but we can do it. We can make a change to it next year based on, we got a 10.5% return, but yet we're gonna have to increase our MMO by over $700,000 because that one day in time, right, it was a bad day.
Right. So the next time they look at it, the 10.5 increase will be in there, and maybe we won't have to do as much.
Correct. That's the hope.
We need that crystal ball.
If I had it, I wouldn't be here. All right, we had some discussions on long-term financing, and I don't want to get into, there's nothing to be acted upon, but just for the public knowledge, we got a grant through the state that's reimbursing us 50% of the cost of the public works facility. Part of that is that we had to take our portion and make it a long-term financing obligation, so we're gonna go ahead and do that. We're gonna look at it either by bonds or by bank loan, and we have asked PFM to do the comparison for us. More to come next month. Keeping on moving, the cash updates. We had cash was totaled at a little over $10 million, which is a $2.6 million decrease from July. I can get into that in a minute. We had some Pliget investment conversation with the maturity of $1 million, and the committee is making a recommendation to council to authorize that $1 million that's maturing in the Pliget investment to remain in the Pliget class account for the near future, and I'll go ahead and make that recommendation.
Motion and second, roll call, please.
Councilmember Brenner?
Yes.
Councilmember Stanko?
Yes.
Councilmember Reimer?
Yes.
Councilmember Vogel?
Yes.
Councilmember Barnett?
Yes.
Councilmember Weinhofer?
Yes.
And Council President James.
Yes.
Okay. I always try to give an update on the monthly revenues, and this month was a disaster. And for public knowledge, the reason it was a disaster is we had to buy 2 vehicles off budget. One was a little over $1 million for a fire truck that we got at a good price, and would seem to be the right idea, which I will applaud past councils that we have enough money to be able to do that. And then our street sweeper was not gonna make it through the leaf cleaning season, so we had 2 choices, either to buy a street sweeper, or not collect the leaves, and the vacuum thing. So went ahead and did that. We bought, well, both cases, we bought demos. Both cases, we had tried the vehicles out, and we did get it at a discount. Unfortunately, that is a non-budgeted item. So when you look at the net results for 2024, expenditures exceeded revenues by $2.88 million, with a negative variance to the budget of $1.256 million, which is pretty close to where, if you take those 2 projects out, we'd be on the good side with those 2 expenditures. So we'll get into more of that. And budget season has started, so we're going to be working on the budgets, and with that $700,000 addition to the MMO, it's going to be an enjoyable process, I'm sure. We had some other discussions on taxes, and some of them are up, some of them are down. Most likely the real estate transfer tax are down because the houses just aren't moving as well in Wyomissing as we would hope. When we get to item number 5, then the committee has made a recommendation to authorize council for the business manager to draw the Tompkins General Obligation Note in the amount of $284,396.13 for the Public Works Garage project for the September management fees and engineering fees, as well as the construction and electrical services pending September. So the committee has made that recommendation.
Michelle, isn't that the same money that we already approved in the infrastructure committee report, or is this different?
No, this is different.
It's
That-
almost the
that-
same amount. That's what-
It's to pay, infrastructure's to pay the invoices, this is to draw on the loan to actually
Okay, so
pay them.
it is the same dollars,
Yes,
but
it
it's a
should-
different action.
yes.
Okay, I got it. So we should have a motion.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
We have a motion and second, roll call please.
Councilmember Brunner?
I abstain due to my employment status at Tompkins.
Councilmember Stanko?
Yes.
Councilmember Reimer?
Yes.
Councilmember Mogul?
Yes.
Councilmember Barnett?
Yes.
Councilmember Weinhofer?
Yes.
And Council President Jenks?
Yes.
Okay. Then we talked about a grant, so the committee is making a recommendation to approve adopting resolution 2024-27 to apply for a $1 million grant through the C4 LSA program. And I'll go ahead and make that motion. Second.
Motion and second, all those in favor? Opposed? The ayes have it.
And that is all the finance and admin committee needs to have brought before council tonight. I make a motion to accept the report.
Second.
Motion and second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Oh,
Yeah.
Mr. Reeser, I forgot, did you have anything you wanted to add?
I only have a comment on the fund balances. No, I think your presentation hits it right on the nail.
Well, thank you.
I couldn't have done any better.
That's probably not true.
Thank you
Sorry.
very much. Okay. Moving on to Borough Manager's report, Mrs. Bear.
Good evening, council. The Western Berks Water Authority meeting minutes were received this morning and were forwarded out to you by email. The Joint Municipal Authority meeting minutes were included in your council packet. I did speak with Dave Wisser. They were not emailing the minutes, they were mailing them. So I think that,
Oh, good Lord.
yeah,
What happened to the mail?
Snail
Who does
mail.
that anymore?
that's kind of what my question was. So he did promise me, you know, again, after the August meeting, they would send the minutes.
Now we know.
I'm respectfully requesting a motion to approve the proposed policy for use of audio and video recording equipment during public meetings.
Someone wish to make?
Second.
We have a motion and second. Is there a question on the motion? All those in favor, aye? Aye. Opposed? We have one opposition. Policy passes and is enacted.
I'm respectfully requesting a motion to, this would be advertised in ordinance of the Borough of Wyomissing, ordinance number 1449-2024, amending chapter 1 of the Wyomissing Code entitled Administration and Government, part 3 entitled Committees and Departments, subpart F entitled Refuse and Recycling Committee to rename, amend, and restate subpart F in its entirety to form the creation of the Environmental Advisory Council.
So moved. Second.
Is there a question on the motion?
So, I'm not comfortable voting yes, just because I'm not sure how much this is gonna overstate what the committee's powers are versus what other committees have in place, where that stands with the borough, the management of the borough, not the borough manager. So I'm not a hard no, I'm just a no for now at this point, so I have other questions that I'll bring up if we need to.
Well, I would add my 2 cents. I think that with the refuse and recycling committee, that we've been sort of in the middle of a wrestling, the refuse and recycling committee as to what it does and how the people are affected by it is enough of a problem. We don't need to combine another big project that would have ramifications to refuse and recycling or separate, and we have a bunch of very smart people on one and very smart people on the other. I think we should do a really good job with refuse and recycling, because that's what really makes people nuts, when they know how much they have to pay for trash and garbage and glass and whatever. So we get that done, if it's done right, then we have plenty of time to do all the other stuff that the EAC is suggesting. That's my thoughts.
Thank you. Other comments? I have one. I'm kind of in the same boat. I'm scratching my head on this a little bit because some of the, seems that there's a lot of redundancy. We have other committees, like the Public Works Department, who oversees the borough operations, including impact of borough services, along with the properties and the buildings and the facilities.
Do they look at the environmental impact?
They have, yes.
Okay.
And I believe it was our borough manager who reported, I noticed one year, which I had never seen before, all of a sudden there's this thing that when they're running water through the hydrants, and it's going out into the street, that it's going through this thing. And I stopped and asked what that was, and they said it dechlorinates the water before it goes into the stream. I was not aware that we needed such a thing because for many years we just opened up a hydrant and let the water flow. So yes, they're in tune with what's going on, and that's just one example. I also am of the opinion that before we spend the money to advertise this, I would like to get a little bit more education and a little bit more in depth about this. So that is my comments on that. Having said that, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
May I have a raise of hands, please, on that, just to be sure. We have 3. All those not in favor? Okay. The nays have it. For right now, I would suggest we table this until we can get some more information and education on what you're trying to achieve. Okay?
Next under my report, a motion is needed to approve having PFM begin the process to prepare and submit requests for proposals to banks by mid-September as part of the dual track plan for the long-term financing options for the Public Works Garage, the fire apparatus, and potentially, but not definitively, Borough Home and Police Department.
So moved. We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion is second. Question on the motion. Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you.
Would someone make a motion to accept my report, please?
I'll move. Second.
We have a motion and second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Okay, moving on in your packet is the Treasurer's Statement of Operations, which includes the General Fund, the Bureau of Water, the Sewer Fund, Highway Aid, Refuge and Recycling Fund, and the Road Tax Fund. And Mr. Reeser, our treasurer, are you here to speak?
Yes, thank you. After reviewing the activity of the various funds, the amounts in those funds appear reasonable. And I have no further comment to Mr. Brother's comments regarding the financial situation. So that's really all I have.
Very good.
Motion to approve treasurer's report.
Second. We have a motion and second. All those in favor? Opposed? The ayes have it. Report is approved. And also in your packet is the accounts payable report, which includes the general fund, the Bureau of Water, Sewer Fund, Refuge and Recycling Fund. And I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Brunner?
Yes.
Councilmember Stenka?
Yes.
Councilmember Reimer?
Yes.
Councilmember Noble?
Yes.
Councilmember Barnett? Councilmember Weinhofer?
Yes.
And Council President James?
Yes. And you also have the tax collector's report. Are there any questions regarding that?
Motion approved.
Second.
Motion second. All those in favor? Opposed? The ayes have it. Okay. And that now brings us to public comment period on non-agenda items. Do we have any public comments, non-agenda items?
I'd
Sir?
like to finish my comment from earlier.
No, is this non-agenda item?
Non-agenda item, it doesn't matter. It's
Excuse me, sir, I'm
Yes.
running this meeting, you are not. Is this a non-agenda item?
non-agenda item.
Pardon?
Non-agenda item.
Okay, go ahead, just say that. Don't be smart with me.
Are you done?
Go right ahead.
Okay. The only issue that I find is that no other municipality in here has a need for marketing. Outside of this world in which we live here, marketing involves dollars, involves people bringing dollars to the company. We're not bringing dollars here. We don't know what we are marketing. I object. Good. That's an objection on Sunshine Act. Please, if you wouldn't mind.
I think the question was, we think this is an
Agenda item.
It's a general item.
No, it's an agenda item,
No,
sir.
it's a general item. My question to you is, what are we marketing? What is the borough marketing? We're not making money. We're marketing a public service. No other municipality has a marketing department. Just because we're maintaining a website or a presence on social media, that doesn't qualify as marketing. Okay? That was the question. I don't see that. I think we lost all common sense here because, like I said, I've never heard anywhere in the world that a city is marketing itself. Yes. No, we're not marketing the city because we're not selling anything. It's a public service. It is. Yeah.
Get curious. Okay, are there any other comments? If not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. So moved. We are adjourned. Thank you, one and all.